Good afternoon. For 3.5 weeks since his disastrous debate performance, Joe Biden has been insisting he would not quit the presidential race. But today, he did just that while endorsing Kamala Harris to fight Donald Trump for the top job in November. This report from our US correspondent Jonathan Kersley in the White House.
Night has fallen here in Washington, D.C. on a momentous day in American history. America has not seen a day like this since 1968, one where a president seeking re-election bows out of the race. Joe Biden announcing round about 2 o'clock Washington, D.C. time, while in COVID isolation in Delaware, that he would no longer be accepting the Democratic nomination and ending his presidential run. In his statement, he said, "It has been the greatest honour of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." That term due to end in January next year, after the presidential election in November. But he was quick to endorse his Vice President Kamala Harris to be the one to succeed him, to be the one to go to the top of the ticket for the Democratic convention next month, and be the one to take on Donald Trump in November. She issued her own statement saying, "I am honoured to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination. Over the past year, I have travelled across the country talking with Americans about the clear choice in this momentous election." There were statements and tributes pouring in from senior Democratic figures, tributes praising Joe Biden's leadership. The Clintons saying, "We join millions of Americans in thanking President Biden for all he has accomplished, standing up for America time and time again with his North Star always being what's best for the country. We are honoured to join the President in endorsing Vice President Harris and will do whatever we can to support her." A statement of praise too from Barack Obama, who said that Joe Biden has been one of America's most consequential presidents, as well as a dear friend and partner to me. His statement, though, did not endorse Kamala Harris to be vice president, but this could change in the coming hours and the coming days. As far as support for Kamala Harris goes, well, there has already been a hookup of state Democratic Party chairs as she tries to seek the delegates she needs to be the nominee. And there's been some big-time endorsements coming in from some senior Democratic figures. Gavin Newsom in California, as well as Governor Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, all key figures backing in Kamala Harris to be the one to take on Donald Trump. Outside the White House here today, the news of Joe Biden ending his presidential run was greeted by some with shock. Others turned up to say, "Thanks, Mr. President."
Definitely think it was a tough decision for them to make, this close to voting, but I think it was the right decision.
Do you worry about a Trump presidency?
Every day.
So Kamala Harris has filled out the paperwork to make her presidential campaign official, Kamala Harris for president. But just by putting her hand up does not mean that she will be automatically the nominee. That has to go to the convention in Chicago next month. And already we're hearing reports that independent Senator Joe Manchin, formerly a Democrat, could consider actually signing up to the Democrats and sticking his hand up for the nomination. Donald Trump also reacted swiftly, saying not only should Joe Biden have ended his run, but that Joe Biden is not fit to be president now. The Trump campaign also issuing an attack ad going directly after Kamala Harris. Unsurprising, we're being told that they have had this in the works for months and that Donald Trump has actually been watching developments in the Democratic Party from the Republican National Convention just last week. So now Joe Biden expected to return to the White House to give a national address, but perhaps for the Democrats this could be a time of unity, and this could be a moment that really shifts this presidential campaign.
And here in Australia, politicians have today praised President Joe Biden. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese today pointing to his leadership in the AUKUS nuclear submarine deal and major steps in the global fight against climate change. Albanese describing Mr Biden's decision to pull out of the race as selfless.
As he's done throughout his entire time in public life, he has acted in what he considers to be the best interests of the United States of America.
He has been a great friend of our country, and he has been somebody who has strengthened the relationship between our two countries.
Nine's political editor and former US correspondent Charles Croucher will give us his take on today's events after 4:30 p.m. Let's go to the rest of the day's